Psychology says people who have very few friends are often misunderstood, not broken, not antisocial, not weak. And if you've ever looked around and wondered, why does everyone else seem to have someone except me? This video isn't about loneliness. It's about how certain minds are wired differently. And one of these traits is something most people never realize they have. Trait number 1, you have zero tolerance for fake people. If you have very few friends, you probably can't stand fake personalities. People who wear masks, people who gossip, manipulate, or perform. Psychology shows that as self-awareness increases, tolerance for inauthentic behavior drops sharply. You see through things faster than most people. Forced smiles, hidden motives, subtle manipulation. Your brain picks up on it almost instantly. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. So instead of forcing yourself to play along, you quietly pull back. You'd rather be alone than sit through conversations where people pretend to be something they're not. That's why your circle stays small. Not because you're antisocial, but because you refuse to betray your own standards. Trait number 2, your brain burns more energy during social interaction. Some people feel energized after socializing. You feel drained. Psychology calls this high social sensitivity. Your nervous system processes more information during interactions. You pick up on tone changes, emotional shifts, unspoken tension, micro expressions. While others skim the surface, your brain goes deep. That doesn't mean you dislike people. It means your brain works harder when you're around them. So after social interaction, you need solitude to recover. Not scrolling and not texting, real quiet. This is why you often disappear for long periods. Not because you don't care, but because your mind needs space to reset. Every conversation costs you something, and most people never notice the cost. Trait number 3, you prefer depth over quantity in everything. People with very few friends don't avoid relationships. They avoid surface-level relationships. Psychology shows that deeper thinkers crave meaning over stimulation. Small talk exhausts you. How's the weather? What are you up to? Conversations where nobody really listens. Your mind wants depth, ideas, and psychology. What drives people? What makes life meaningful? So when conversations stay shallow, you disengage, not out of arrogance, but boredom. Instead of forcing connections that feel empty, you choose solitude until something real appears. And because deep connections are rare, friends become rare too. Trait number 4, you are extremely selective with who gets access to you. This is one of the most important traits and one of the rarest. People with few friends aren't bad at socializing. They're highly selective. Psychology calls this high social filtering. Most people let anyone into their lives. They collect acquaintances. They confuse familiarity with connection. You don't. You observe first. You watch how people treat others. You notice consistency, honesty, and emotional maturity. And if something feels off, even slightly, you don't ignore it. Your standards for friendship are high, because access to you means access to your time, your energy, and your inner world. So instead of having many shallow connections, you end up with very few, or none at all. And you're okay with that. Trait number 5, you're emotionally independent and don't need validation. Many people form friendships out of emotional dependency. They need constant reassurance, attention, someone to confirm they matter. People with few friends often don't. Psychology refers to this as low social dependency, or a strong internal emotional regulation system. You can sit alone with your thoughts, you can entertain yourself, you don't panic in silence. Your sense of worth doesn't depend on who texts you back. And while this is a strength, it removes urgency. You don't chase people, you don't force bonds. You don't tolerate disrespect just to avoid being alone. As a result, many connections fade naturally, quietly, without drama. Trait number 6, past experiences taught you to be careful. This trait is common, but rarely spoken about honestly. People with few or no friends often went through something that changed how they trust. Betrayal, emotional neglect, being surrounded by the wrong people for too long. Psychology shows that once trust is broken, the brain becomes protective, not closed. You don't rush into closeness anymore. You observe longer, test consistency, watch actions instead of words. This creates what psychologists call a high trust threshold. Most people never clear it. So your circle stays small, not because you can't connect, but because you refuse to repeat the past. Trait number 7, you don't use people to define who you are. Most people unconsciously use friendships to stabilize their identity, who they hang out with, who validates them, who reflects them back to themselves. Psychology calls this external identity regulation. People with very few friends often don't do this. You don't need a group to feel like someone. You don't need constant mirroring. You don't borrow meaning from others. Your sense of self is internally generated. And while this makes you mentally resilient, it also makes many social environments feel unnecessary. You don't form connections just to feel real. You form them only when something genuine exists, which means you can go long stretches without friends. Not because you're disconnected, but because your identity doesn't collapse in solitude. That's rare, and most people don't understand it. Now here's the part most people get wrong. Having very few friends does not automatically mean you're lonely. Loneliness is wanting connection and not having it. Many people with few friends aren't lonely at all. They're selective and self-aware, emotionally regulated, mentally independent, but society doesn't reward that. So you may feel behind, even when your inner world is rich. The real problem isn't having few friends. It's believing that makes you defective, but it really doesn't. It means your mind operates outside the average psychological template, and that's rare. Sometimes the strongest minds walk alone for a while. If this video felt like it was describing you, you're not alone in that experience. You just belong to a smaller percentage of people. If you want more psychology videos that decode human behavior and help you understand yourself on a deeper level, subscribe to the channel, because the next video might reveal something about you that you've never realized.